Good morning, church. We're in John chapter 16 today. This video and the ones to follow are being recorded during the week of Easter. So it's a timely blessing for us to look at the events of Jesus' death and resurrection during this time of year. John chapter 15 ended with Jesus telling his disciples, the world is going to hate you because the world hates me. And in chapter 16, he picks up on that theme again when he says this, "In a little while you will see me no more, and then after a little while you will see me again." And the disciples were curious about that. What do you mean we aren't going to see you and then we are going to see you? And Jesus drills down on that with some clarity when he says this, "I tell you the truth, you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices." In just a few hours, Jesus is going to be arrested. He's going to be tried overnight. And before the next day hits, he's going to be hanging from a cross. And plenty of people are going to be rejoicing about that fact. From the crowds who called for his crucifixion to the religious leaders who would prefer Jesus disappear from the scene. But there'll also be plenty of people who will be mourning that fact. From these 12 apostles who really hoped to serve in the kingdom of God, to Jesus' own family who grieved at the pain he underwent, to others in the crowd who really hoped that Jesus was going to be the promised Messiah who would rescue them from the clutches of the Roman Empire. But Jesus says this, "You will grieve, but your grief will turn to joy." Jesus says the grief that you will experience is momentary, and the joy to follow that will be unspeakable. And Jesus uses an example that I know most women can relate to, the example of giving birth to their children. Now, I'm not an expert, but I know that for most people there's a great deal of pain related with giving birth to their children. But once you're holding that little baby, and in the days and weeks to follow, you almost forget about the pain you underwent because the joy of having that new life in your arms is so wonderful. Jesus says that is comparable to what I'm talking about here. The grief of the coming few hours and days will disappear almost when you understand the joy that is promised in my resurrection that is to follow this. I'm not sure if you are experiencing that kind of grief now. I know we're all experiencing a kind of discomfort that we don't know what the future is going to hold. But Jesus says even for us, the grief that we have at this moment disappears whenever we contemplate the joy to follow. And if you really think back on your life, most of the time when we experience the fear and uncertainty and the grief of things that we dread happening, they are almost always followed after with a sense of joy and a peace that God is still in control. Join us on Facebook. I'd love to hear your comments about that section or the broader chapter, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day.